Hello everyone and welcome to Southridge. If this is your first time joining us in this format, we want to offer a few tips on how to make the most of this experience. So be sure to crank up the volume during the music and actually sing along. Don't worry, we can't hear you. Musicians, you can download the music charts below the video, grab your instrument and play along. Now for any kids participating with us, don't worry if you don't know or can't read the words, just sing. You can dance, you can make music of your own. We're just so happy when you join in with us. Now, if English isn't your first language or you're experiencing hearing challenges, we encourage you to turn on the closed captioning on this video or download the transcripts for this morning's message. And be sure to download the Southridge app. This is the best way to stay connected and informed about everything that's going on here at Southridge. It's completely free and it's super easy to use. But for the next hour, I invite you to engage with this experience just as if you were with us, surrounded by a community of diverse, curious, open-minded, and inclusive people, all desiring to tap into the power and presence of God together as we worship, pray, listen, laugh, and grow. I mean, there might be some things that we do or say today that really resonate with you, and that's great. There might also be things that stretch and challenge you, and we think that's good too. Ultimately, we encourage you to engage openly, thoughtfully, honestly, and wholeheartedly, trusting that the God we're here to connect with is a God who, above all else, is love. So as we begin our time together, wherever and whenever you are, whether this is your first time with us or if you've been around forever, we hope that for the next hour you feel like you're among friends. Welcome to Southridge. We're glad you're here.
We want this space to be one where absolutely everyone knows they belong.
No matter who you are, where you've been,
or any of the reasons you might have felt excluded in the past.
As a way of declaring our belonging with God and with one another, I invite you to stand as I read the following statements.
After each statement, let's all respond together.
I belong, you belong, we belong.
People of every nation, tribe, and tongue.
Of African, Asian, and European descent.
Of Indigenous, Latin, and Middle Eastern descent.
Immigrants and refugees.
Founders and first-timers.
People of no fixed address.
I belong.
You belong.
We belong.
People of all abilities and challenges, with bodies of all shapes and sizes.
Those living with health challenges, whether visible or invisible.
Mental or physical.
Those experiencing underemployment, homelessness, or food insecurity.
Those at various stages of recovery, and those in support roles.
I belong.
You belong.
We belong.
People of all ages and life stages, whether single, married, separated, or divorced.
Widowed or orphaned, those who've lost someone close. Those who've never married, those unable to have children.
Children of adoption, foster families, blended families, and chosen families.
I belong.
You belong.
We belong.
People of all genders, identities, expressions, and orientations.
Including those who are gay, bisexual, heterosexual, transgender, cisgender, queer,
and everyone for whom those labels don't apply. I belong.
You belong.
We belong.
People who identify as seekers and skeptics.
Mystics and mavericks.
Disciples, doubters, and deconstructors.
People looking for change and those who wish things would go back to how they used to be.
I belong.
you belong.
We belong.
People who feel broken or lost, struggling with self-doubt and self-judgment.
Those in crisis and suffering from trauma.
Those who felt excluded, forgotten, unseen, or unwanted.
Those longing to simply be themselves and find a place to belong.
I belong.
You belong.
We belong.
God of ages, be my anchor, be my light and be my shield, be my strength and my confidence. my song, be my victory. In my battles, I'll remember you will keep me in perfect peace. You are faithful, my defender. You are good, you will always be. You have set me free, changed this heart into your home, and ever I'll be with you. I'm back where I belong, and I will live to see love invading, grace unbroken. Ever I'll be with you. I'm back where I belong. Let my light burn with compassion, like a fire that never dies. Build your church and build your kingdom here. For this cause, I'm giving up my life. You have set me free, change his heart into your home, and ever I'll be with you. I'm back where I belong, and I will live to see your love invading, grace unbroken. Ever I'll be with you. I'm back where I belong. Broken hearted, lift your heads up. Come to Jesus, come back home. 'Cause He is greater than the fears you face. Who I love, come home where you belong. 'Cause you have set me free, change this heart into your home, and ever I'll be with you. I'm back where I belong, and I will live to see your love invading, grace unbroken. Ever I'll be with you. I'm back where I belong. Ever I'll be with you. I'm back where I belong. Ever I'll be with you. I'm back where I belong. We're creation, suddenly articulate, with 1,000 tongues to lift one cry. Then from north to south and east to west, we'd hear Christ be magnified. Were the whole earth echoing His eminence, His name would burst from sea to sky. From rivers to the mountain tops, we hear Christ be magnified. Sing it out. Christ be magnified. And oh, Christ be magnified. Let his praise arise. Christ be magnified in me. And oh, Christ be magnified on the altar of my life. Christ be magnified in me. When every creature finds its inmost melody, and every human heart its native cry, oh, then in one enraptured hymn of praise we'll sing, Christ be magnified. And oh, Christ be magnified. Let his praise arise. Christ be magnified in me. Oh, Christ be magnified from the altar of my life. Christ be magnified in me. No, I won't bow to idols. I'll stand strong and worship you. And if it puts me in the fire, I'll rejoice 'cause you're there too. I won't be formed by feelings. I'll hold fast to what is true. And if the cross brings transformation, then I'll be crucified with you. 'Cause death is just the doorway into resurrection life. And if I join you in your suffering, then I'll join you when you rise. And when you return in glory with all the angels and the saints, yeah, my heart will still be singing. Oh, my song will be the same. Oh, Christ be magnified. Let his praise arise. Christ be magnified in me. Oh, Christ be magnified on the altar of my life. Christ be magnified in me.
We're glad you're here.
That sounded really weird.
You need to take a good look too, because you ain't never gonna see another one like me.
We invite you. Nope.
You forgot the whole line that you hated.
The whole line.
We are a diverse community of imperfect people
who see the church as less of something to go to and more of a life to be lived and shared with others.
We are continually growing in what it means to love one another, fighting for unity rather than fighting over unnecessary arguments.
We are living to serve this world in the way of Jesus, serving those in need and those on the margins, knowing that friendship truly makes the difference.
So if you're coming with questions or curiosities,
hurts or frustrations,
joys or celebrations,
wondering if the church can bring clarity or hope,
or simply be a place to belong,
we invite you to be at home with us.
We invite you to explore with us.
We invite you to grow with us.
And we invite you to belong with us.
Welcome to Southridge.
We're glad you're here.
Hey there, my name is Jessica Reimer, and I serve as the Director of Connection here at Southridge. We're so glad that you're participating with us, and we hope that this has already been a meaningful time for you. So I'm here in our St. Catharines location, and if you've never joined us for one of our in-person gatherings at one of our physical Southridge locations, we would love to have you consider joining us in person when you feel ready and able. While we're so grateful to have this online platform to share in this experience from wherever and whenever we find ourselves, we love it even more when we can gather together as a community. In fact, if you do come out, please come say hi to me or one of our many welcoming volunteers, and we'd love to get a small gift into your hands, just as a way of showing our appreciation for taking the time to come and meet us in person. And as even more of an incentive, we actually have monthly welcome lunches for anyone who's looking to learn more about our community and wanting to connect with some folks over some delicious food. So just check out our events page on the website to see when an upcoming welcome lunch is happening, and we'd love to meet you there. If for whatever reason you're not able to or not comfortable with joining us in person, please know that actually doesn't in any way exclude you from participating in community with us. If you need to touch base with a pastor for any reason, please simply fill out one of our Connect cards. We can't wait to hear from you. For those of us who call this community home, one of the ways we practice togetherness and express our gratitude to God and generosity to others is by regular financial contributions. This is one of the ways we can invest our lives in what God is doing in and through our church family, making a difference by meeting needs among us, across our region, and around the world. All of our online giving options are available on our website, and so if you're able to give this week, we invite you to do so in a spirit of joy and generosity, and we thank you in advance for your faithfulness. So that's it from me. Now we're going to hear this week's talk together, and as we do, I invite you to remove as many distractions as possible and listen in to what God might want to be saying uniquely to you.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone. I hope you had a meaningful Christmas and holiday season, hopefully enjoying especially some quality time with loved ones, whether it was your family or some friends or neighbors. And today, we're actually starting a new series at Southridge to kick off the new year and for the month of January, a series we're calling Not Alone, which is all about how we aren't meant to live life by ourselves, but that we all have a deep need for meaningful connections and lasting relationships. However, the message that we shared in our in-person services this week to kick off this series wasn't me. We actually shared a brilliant and compelling talk from a business leader and an author named Liz Bohannon. This was a talk that a number of us heard last summer as part of the Global Leadership Summit that we host as a church every year. Unfortunately, though, we're not able to post that talk kind of in an online format to our online service. So I thought I would just give you the Coles notes for a minute. Liz shared from some in-depth societal research, as well as from her own observations and experience, how especially in our North American way of life, far too many of us are experiencing what she would call an epidemic of loneliness. As at the summit, she was talking to organizational leaders, or specifically, she shared that 70% of all leaders report feeling lonely, much if not most of the time. And that, while the number may not be as high for people who aren't necessarily in leadership roles, she also said there's a lot of evidence that the majority of us experience loneliness, more than connection and community in many of the facets of our lives. And if this wasn't kind of heavy enough to hear and digest, Liz shared about the implications of living lonely lives. That loneliness actually impacts the rest of our well-being more than almost any other factor, including our physical health. She shared, based on her research, that the quality of our friendships in life is actually the single greatest contributor to our overall well-being. And in some studies, even our life expectancy. Isn't that something? But in the midst of the realities of loneliness that I'm sure so many of us can relate to, the good news that Liz shared with us is that it doesn't have to be that way, that loneliness is not inevitable. That even while we've kind of created a culture of individualism, isolation, and dependence on technology, often more than friendship, Liz shared how we have the power and capacity to make different choices in order to build meaningful friendships and fully participate in life-giving, if not life-saving community. community that can radically change our lives for the better. And this is where the rest of this series, this Not Alone series, is going from here, as we're going to talk over the next few weeks about what it means to authentically and vulnerably take the risky first step of getting into community. And then as we learn what it means to work through and endure what are often the messy and hard parts of long-lasting, intimate friendships. And ultimately through this series, I hope we're going to come to the place of recognizing how Jesus demonstrated that everyone is made for and everyone is invited into this kind of community and friendship, both with him, relationship with God, and through relationship with each other if we'll follow Jesus's lead. So while I know it's a bummer that we can't share this full message with you through our online service this week, did make me think that this is also a unique opportunity to invite you to join us in community, to join us in person for our weekly gatherings throughout the rest of this month and series. Because while we found that our online service can be a helpful option for people to stay in touch, with our experiences when they're away, or it can be a great way to check out a bit of what we're about, kind of from a safe distance, especially if you're new to checking this out. But like the point of Liz's message and the point of this series, ultimately what we're about is being a community together, being in relationship together in life-on-life ways. About sharing in life and building connections and friendships in real and tangible ways, all while pursuing the life and love of Jesus at the center. Really in a way that can only go so far through online methods like these, or podcasts, or social media. Friends, we believe that we were made not to be alone. And we see this modeled spectacularly in the life of Jesus, which we'll talk about this month, and how he created and fostered friendship and community in deep and intimate ways. And we don't want any of us, we don't want you to miss out on having that kind of friendship and connection, in our lives. The friendship and connection we're all made for. So as you're able, I want to use this opportunity here to personally invite you to join us even next Sunday, January 14th, in person in any of our 3 locations, as we continue the conversation of considering what it could mean to not live life alone. And what's kind of cool is that throughout the month of January, we'll have a couple other sort of only in-person experiences. We'll be celebrating a couple baptisms next Sunday. Then throughout the month, we'll be hosting some lunches where you can meet others and sign up for a life group, an environment to build relationships. And at the end of the month, we're going to be hosting what we call a Start the Party social event, all of which an online service can never fully replace. So beyond the series and beyond the conversation, our heart and our invitation is that we actually live this out together by being people who are together, by investing in one another's lives, by carrying each other's burdens, by learning to forgive one another's shortcomings, by being people of encouragement, encouraging one another's strengths. And in so doing, living a life that discovers that together we are not alone. I hope to see you in person soon.
Together, strangers, neighbors, our blood is one. Children of generations, of every nation, of kingdom come. Don't let your heart be troubled. Hold your head up high, don't fear no evil. Fix your eyes on this one truth. God is madly in love with you. Take courage, hold on, be strong. Remember where our help comes from. Oh All you heaven, let the praise go up as the walls come down. All creation, everything with breath, repeat the sound. All His children, clean hands, pure hearts, good grace, good God. His name is Jesus. Swing wide, all you heavens, let the praise go up as the walls come down. All creation, everything with breath, repeat the sound. All His children, clean hands, pure hearts, good grace, good God. His name is Jesus. Swing wide, all you heavens, kingdom come.
We're a community of imperfect people
who desire to put into practice the good news that we preach.
Our faith is not about an hour of watching or attending.
It's about a lifestyle of full devotion to Christ.
Not just as something to believe, but someone to follow.
We don't want to talk a good game on Sunday, only to remain unaffected or ineffective the rest of the week.
So while we gather each week to sing, pray, listen, and learn,
we know that an hour a week will never produce the life change that we so desperately need.
It requires a daily investment of time and training. It takes practice.
And practice.
And more practice.
And when we mess up, we forgive ourselves and each other.
Then help each other get up and keep practicing.
As we go now into the rest of our week,
may we not just be hearers of the word, but doers also.
May the Spirit of God fill us and make us kind and compassionate,
honest and humble,
generous and hospitable,
those who repay evil with good,
respond to injustice with action, overcoming despair with hope.
Let us be known not by what we're against, but by what and who we are for.
And most of all, let us love one another, because God is love.
It's been good to be together, but now it's time for us to go.
In the name of the Father, who loves us unconditionally.
In the name of the Son, who restores our true humanity.
And in the name of the Spirit, who empowers us to live life to the full.
Amen.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope you felt inspired and challenged by our time together. Now, we know that for what we've heard today to become a reality in our daily lives, it's going to take more than this 1 hour a week we spend together. It requires a moment-by-moment, 7 days a week commitment to practicing the way of peace and the way of Jesus. And that's why we provide a host of ways to continue to lean into God's presence while we're away from each other. As always, you can click the Practice This Week button below the player for our daily spiritual exercises to continue to develop the muscles we've started building today. If it helps, you can also opt into the Spiritual Practices notifications on our app to get those helpful reminders every morning as you start your day. As our time together ends, we're going to put some questions on the screen. If you're watching with others, they can serve as great conversation starters, but they can also be a great way of processing and personalizing what you've heard today on your own. And if you'd like a more personal conversation with somebody about anything that's going on in your life, we invite you to reach out to our location pastors who will follow up with you privately. Simply fill out our Connect card, which you can find on our website or app. Now that's all for now. Thanks for joining us and have a great week.